Dude, the pancakes thing is not false. These late night things, they got these little pancakes. And they're like small pancakes. You know, it's like this little pancakes with strawberry and cream for like a couple thousand people that are there. The pancake thing is real. I dig it, man. I knew right from the start, music can change the way people feel. Like my emotion, my emotional state, the angst, the calmness, the energy, when I need to get hyped up, all those things I could associate with music, and I knew that music was a powerful tool for that. I've been a huge music fan since I was a kid. I got into a lot of punk rock and ska music, and I saw people playing guitar, and I saw things that looked like, oh, I could probably do that. And then eventually work up to doing stuff that's a little bit more technical. I just got hooked on bands like Green Day, Blink-182. I went to Warped Tour as a kid. I can't believe that my parents dropped me off at Warped Tour as a little kid, and we're just like, we'll see you over there on the other side of downtown at some point tonight. Oh my gosh, this festival is insane. I feel so great, I feel so at home, which is kind of funny because my vibe now is not really Warped Tour vibe, you know? But I come from that energy and that kind of that drive in the music and that passion for just finding your community is something that I'm still very active and passionate about. But that's kind of how I really got started, and what got me hooked was finding that home base with the skateboarder, punk rock, alternative rock thing, and guitar was just kind of wrapped around in that. There was a bunch of musicians at my school. We actually had a really great music program. I think also amongst a lot of my friends, we were all into the same thing and we all saw the same thing. We were watching MTV, watching how cool it was at Warped Tour to see all these people playing guitar, going to all these different concerts. There was a ska band, and then I had a punk band, and we just played in my friend's basement. We literally practiced every weekend. I would take the bus home Friday after school to my friend's house, and on Sunday evening, my dad would come pick me up or something. It's like, I don't know how his parents let us all stay over there the entire weekend. Probably for a year and a half, we went over there every weekend. We spent the entire weekend hanging out, watching videos of Foo Fighters and Green Day and all these live VHS tapes that we had, or if something was taped on MTV or something, we watched it back. We weren't really great at first, and then we practiced a ton, and we got pretty good. And we played some little shows around town at some clubs that would let 14-year-old kids play gigs or whatever. I've always been somebody who's thought music is so much about the emotion, about the energy, how it helps make somebody else feel, how it makes you feel. But also, there's a craft involved, and there's a respect for the craft. And even though we were kids, we really wanted to make sure, if we're gonna do this, let's try to do it right. And getting those things from the beginning is kind of what's helped informed my career and the way that I approach my music still to this day. It's very much attention to detail, but also wide open to interpretation. The first time I ever heard of Ernie Ball was at the Warped Tour. I thought it was so cool that there was a guitar string company at this event that I felt at home at, you know? And then I went to Guitar Center, bought a guitar. The guy said, "You're gonna need some extra strings." I said, "All right, what do you got?" He said, "You're gonna need a set of Slinkies." I said, "Okay, great." I played Slinkies for years. And then I went on this journey of, like we all do, I went on the hero's journey, the classic story of all of the gear, every type of guitar, every type of string. And then a couple years ago, I was just kind of rifling back through things, taking the journey again, taking another lap. And when I put on a set of Slinkies, it feels just like guitar. Like, I don't know what it is. When I put on a set of Slinkies, it just feels like a guitar should feel. The regular Slinkies, to me, are that. Honestly, my favorite sound is the M steels, but they feel a little bit different. It's not bad. It's just, they feel different to me. When I play Slinkies, I feel just completely at home. My hands just feel like, oh, this is guitar. But for my tone, I feel like the M steel kind of captures it a little bit more immediately. I tweak things less when I use the M steel. But there's something about the regular Slinky 10s that just, I know it as home base anytime they're on a guitar. I went to college for science because I didn't really have any role models who were professional musicians. Was really into a lot of jazz and jazz fusion at the time. Basically wanted to be Pat Metheny for a couple years. Wanted to be John Scofield for a while. Started playing a little bit professionally around town in the R&B scene because I grew up in Minneapolis, and around here there's a lot of funk and R&B, as you can imagine. The Minneapolis sound thing with Prince, Morris Day and the Time, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. There's a lot of funk and R&B music that's come out of the scene here. I kind of got involved with a lot of the people that were part of that. They took me under their wing, and I kind of learned all of that language, that feel, and did hundreds of gigs around Minneapolis where nobody cared who I was, and I did hundreds of gigs touring around the world where it was just the guitar player for somebody else. It was at a club called Bunkers here in town in Minneapolis. And Prince used to come out and watch the band that I was playing with at the time. You'd always know Prince is coming because there'd be just kind of a push of people away, and they cleared out the back corner, and there's a couple security guards that look pretty tough, but they're dressed really dope. Within 15 minutes or something, Prince would just show up. And there was one time in particular where I was playing, we knew that he was coming, and I had studied all of his playing, and I was basically the only one who wasn't Prince alumni on the stage. And I started playing with his feel, his voicing, his tone, style, and all that. And the drummer's just playing, he's like, "Hey, knock it off." I was like, "What?" He's like, "If Prince is coming down here, he doesn't want to hear somebody try to sound like Prince. If he wants to hear somebody sound like Prince on guitar, he's gonna get up here and play. You gotta start sounding like you." It's like, oh, okay. Did you just give me permission to be me? That night, I just finally fell into, all right, I'm gonna do this the way that I do it. I'm gonna use all the right hand attack and all of the right hand energy that I learned from the punk rock. I'm gonna take all the chord voicings and interesting harmonic concepts that I've learned from all the jazz training, and I'm gonna take all the feel that I've learned from the R&B and funk playing, and I'm gonna combine it all together, and all of those things together are going to make up my sound. So I start playing that way, and I get done, and I come down, and Prince kind of waves me over, and one of the other goes, "Oh, hey, come on, meet Prince." He goes, "You got a really great sound, man. I like your sound. You got a vibe." It's like, yes! Yes! And it was It was incredible. That'll sometimes, if I'm having a tough day, feeling like I don't have anything worth saying to the world, or feel like, oh, I don't have anything unique, I'll just kind of remember back to that. I wanted to have a voice when I was in my early 20s. We all think that our time is coming to a close when we're like 26 or something. And I just thought, oh, fine, screw it. I'm going to be the cat that just gets hired to give you good guitar whenever you need it, you know? And it wasn't until after I turned 30 where I really found myself. You know, I felt to me like, oh, I found my voice. I found it late, but I got it. And then I realized I'm not late. It's like everybody finds their thing at a different point in life. I needed a bunch of these different experiences and a bunch of these different upbringings with the punk, the jazz, the funk, R&B, all of those things to kind of give me enough information to find out about myself as a musician. And once I really honed in on that, things have just kind of been crazy. I found myself, found my voice, found a musical thing to say, and now I just have a recognizable thing on the instrument that a lot of people can say, oh, I heard this song and I didn't know that it was you on guitar, but I know that it's you on guitar. It couldn't be anybody else. Like, oh, wow, that's an amazing compliment. I think 2013, 2014, somewhere in there. At this point, I'm really good friends with all the guys in Wolfpack. I was on tour with another artist in LA, and Jack from Wolfpack was like, hey, we're doing a recording session for the next album. Come out and record with us. Went out, started doing some recording with the band. I just figured, okay, cool. He hired me to do a session. He said, oh, we're doing this show here. I said, oh, I'm gonna be in LA at the time. I said, okay, come up and join us for it. And then eventually he kind of asked me to join the band, or kind of absorbed me into the band. At the time, it was still mostly an internet thing, Wolfpack was, and then started to play live a lot more. Then it developed into quite a bit of touring, kind of blew up in a couple years and was amazing. And we started this side band, Fearless Flyers, which also had a bunch of buzz around it, but still, we haven't played a lot of shows. It's like it's like an internet band, it's fun. And then I was writing a lot of my own music at the time for my own solo project. And with Wolfpack, we decided we're not gonna do a lot of shows every year. We're just gonna do a handful of big shows. That left me a lot of room to kind of do whatever else I wanted to. I started focusing a lot more on writing my own music, doing more touring, and now over the last few years, that has grown a lot, and it's been incredible to just go around and play in front of 3,000 people in London, where 2 years ago I would have thought, no way, like I wouldn't know how much people would want to come see a primarily rhythm guitar player-led band. But I think that's what makes it kind of unique, and in a lot of ways, I think of myself as a producer, as a band leader. So I kind of find myself in a position of being music director, band leader, rhythm guitar. I also play a lot of guitar solos too, but it's not as much as the typical guitar-led show. One of the things I feel like really unlocked something new for me in the rhythm guitar world was learning how to control my right hand motor. I kind of imagine my right hand as like the pistons of an engine, just steady, constant 16th note stream. And when I really was able to make that motor as consistent as possible, locking it in as much as possible, I realized I can just keep that motion going, and then I just decide when to attack the strings and which strings to attack. I can do chordal things, I can do single note things, but it's all driven by this right hand motor. What inspired me to find that motor for myself and my own sound was actually some interviews that I read with Hetfield, where he talked about his fully downstroke motor motion. And I picked that up and started doing that with a lot of double stop, kind of clean tone things. All downstroke. It's got a certain percussive attack. So I thought, okay, that's kind of the Hetfield motor. What's my motor like? So then I went back to all these drumline exercises that I did in college and high school, playing snare drum in the marching band and drumline. And I went back to all these exercises, and everything that was right hand drumming was a downstroke. Everything left hand was an upstroke. So then it made it so much easier. Like anytime I hit an E or an it's an upstroke. Any time I hit a number or an and, it's a downstroke. So then really just kind of defining that motor motion and then applying everything else around that or building everything else into that. And then anytime I break away from it, it's very intentional. So like kind of helped develop my sound through finding a technique. If you've been doing it long enough, you know it's gonna work. For me, there's certain things in my playing I know are going to work. In the rhythm world, in the lead world, in the composition, production world, all these different things. If you're good at something, you know what works, what's safe, you know? But when you are in that moment and you know that you as an artist have certain things to draw from, rather than just, oh, these magic tricks. It's like, no, I actually know a lot about magic in general, you know? So let me just try to conjure something up. Let me try to pull off some sort of trick right now in the context of what's happening at this particular festival or at this particular session. That's really, to me, where all those special things and those moments of growth happen. Whatever that moment is calling me to something where I can either choose to grow, try something new, or just pull something out of the regular old bag of tricks. I'm always gonna go, if I'm feeling good, if I'm in the right headspace, which I try to be most of the time when I'm playing, I'm always gonna go for just relying on the idea of magic in general, rather than a specific magic trick. Those moments are the really special ones, and that's why live music is the best.